I sit there almost mesmerized, and it was so peaceful and restful that I don't know where you went, but I just went in total mellow land. But my energy will bounce back, I can guarantee it. And today, it's talk about letting go. And I love how Spirit shows up in my life. I've talked to you all about how constantly when I'm working on a talk, it starts percolating and working, and then something shows up with the universe. And so, of course, today is no different. Today I had written my talk on Monday. I rehearsed it the first time on Wednesday or Thursday, the day after Christmas. And then last night I was going through it and I thought, it just doesn't feel exactly right. It didn't feel right in a couple of spaces. But I didn't know exactly, and I thought, you know, this is 11 o'clock at night. I don't want to be throwing out my talk. So I went to sleep, and I said, you know, God will reveal. I really believe this. And because I believe it is true. So this morning I got up, and I threw out 2 parts. Now, for many of you, you probably don't know, but I do my talks. I have an opening, I have 3 points, and I have a close. It's a set pattern with me, and you don't always maybe hear it, but that's what I do. Well, I X'd out this part, and I X'd out this part. It didn't work. But I picked up the Science of Mind magazine, and it does work. There are 2 pieces in here that are absolutely beautiful that fit right in with it. And driving up here this morning, I thought, letting go. I was opening my talk with this beautiful story out of the Joyful Living Journal. But it was beautiful and I loved it. I became emotional, I teared up, but it didn't fit. And so what I realized driving up here is it was teaching me that letting go and stepping of 2014 and stepping into 2015 is even about letting go of those things we love. If they do not fit, we love them and we let them go. So I let go of the first part of my talk. But I still have 5 parts. And I even am going to start off with something I dug out of some of my papers. I wrote this 15 years ago. I must have wrote it for a class. It's short. It's an application. It's an interview for, not an application, it's an invitation for job applicants. And it's called God Wanted. And I thought, how appropriate to start, because that's what I was thinking when I went to bed last night. God is wanted. The ideal candidate must be a higher power, be all that there is, and be open to creating itself over and over in unique fashion. Ability to transform ordinary lives into the quality of the divine spirit is a basic requirement. Experience is required, and the ever availability of demonstrations of the divine's qualities of abundance, balance, beauty, freedom, harmony, joy, love, order, peace, and power, unity, wisdom, and wholeness in all of its creations. Only those genuinely talented need apply. Send copies of your greatest work for a free assessment and consideration. Must have demonstrated proof of miracles. Please include a complete resume with a copy of your miracles and adequate references. So God said, well, let me play with you. If you want to play, 2 can play this game. So what I wanted to do is talk about stop playing small. You cannot be the greatness that you are, that great experience of the divine by playing small. It does not serve. It serves absolutely no one, and you rob the world of your gifts and your talents. So Marianne Williamson says, Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We are powerful beyond measure. Do you understand that? So let go of your fear. Your fear is all within. Its fear is within you. Let your light shine. You are powerful. God is waiting to express through you. Only you can be that unique expression. How would it be if you argued as hard for your greatness as you do for your limitations? Think of that. How often you join in by saying, oh, I'm sorry, my hair doesn't look right, or I didn't this, or I don't know, whatever you mumble jumbo you got going on inside that head. How about if you said, wow, I feel great. I'm this energized expression of God. How about if you said, wow, you know, I'm really pretty bright. I have the wisdom of the universe at my absolute availability. That it's ever present when I want it. All I have to do is call it forward. All I have to do is tap into that inner wisdom within me. For what is known as the one mind is part of the universal mind. We are never alone. We just tap into that ocean of God. Into that ocean of the divine mind of all that we are. So speaking of really powerfully about our own power and wisdom and talents allows us to reinforce it in ourselves. You know, why do you think affirmations work? Affirmations work because you see them when you put them on your refrigerator or on your bathroom mirror or wherever you happen to put them, and you say that affirmation enough times until you believe it. Why don't you become your own affirmation of greatness within you? Why don't you recognize all the talents that you really are? Don't focus on those limitations that you have. Let them go and they will fall away because they don't get any more attention from you. Mm-hmm. You give your attention to that which you want to bring more of into your life, that you really want to call forth, and it's your greatness of who you truly are. Jim Lockhart, I love Jim Lockhart. He is a great guy. He was the vice president of the International Centers for Spiritual Living, who those of you who are affiliated with United, we are now the Centers for Spiritual Living, but at one time we were two separate organizations. And Jim is this gifted person that is just magnetic. It's hard to believe that he spent 25 years as a police law enforcement, because he is nothing like that when you meet him, and he absolutely shines. And they have a picture of him here, and he is this beaming cherub almost. But what he says in here is the inner greatness, inner genius. Go within to seek your inner genius. For Steve Martin said, and I love this, I wouldn't believe in anything if it wasn't for my favorite astrological mood watch. Do you remember when mood rings were really popular and you check at how you were feeling by what color your ring was? Well, I'm going to suggest with a little whimsical humor that you not set your intentions for 2015 with your mood rings. The Science of Mind says, when the inner thought is clarified, that is, when it knows the truth, it will reinstate the outer man in peace, poise, health, and happiness. The inner thought becomes clarified when we unify with good. This is inner quickening. So do you see how the inner affirmations work? Those inner affirmations that we give ourselves remind us of our greatness, of who we are, and it doesn't remind us of our limitations. When your limitations creep into your psyche, into your mind, let it go and say, you do not serve me anymore, you do not belong here. And I give you no more attention, and let it go. Don't return to it. Because as Jim says in here, there is one mind in which we all live, move, and have our being. That mind is directly available to all of us at all times. When we go within to seek our inner genius, it is right there at the point where the universal mind becomes that individualized mind in us. Nothing and no one outside of us has any truth. It's found within. So we don't want to look outside for that, our greatness, because our outside isn't our greatness. Our outside comes from this wellspring of knowing from within us. In the past year, you've done good things and you've given love. I wanted to quote an unknown quote, I love that. When you need to know, excuse me, I am now going to do water. What you need to know about the past is that no matter what has happened, it has all worked together to bring you to this very moment. You know, sometimes I'm going to stop in the middle of the quote and I'll read it in a minute, because what I want to emphasize is some people think things are bad when it happens to them. But if they could see the greater picture, things happen. I'll give you an example of my son. My son has worked for Microsoft for about a dozen years in research. And he worked in Palo Alto, really close to his home. And he loved his job, and he traveled with it, and he got to work with brilliant people, and he got to work on projects, and he loved it. And in October, they walked in and called everybody to the main conference room and let 60 people go. They closed the lab that day. Now, this is a man who is in his early 40s, who has a family and a mortgage and all the other things of raising a family. You could say that's bad, but what I love about my son, he's the most positive, optimistic guy. His cup is always half full and overflowing. Good. He just believes that whatever happens is good. So to him, what he saw was, since they gave him 2 weeks' notice plus a beautiful severance package, he said, oh good, I get to go around and figure out what I really want to do. And I get paid for figuring out what I want to do. And I get to interview. So he took the next 2 months and he interviewed at various places. And he now has this beautiful job that he starts on January 4th. So what, and it was all for all increased benefits. That's the part I love. I don't get any of it, but I'm happy for him. I really am. So what I want to say to you is that a door, as monumental as losing your job in one day, it's one door ends and the other one opens. What if any of those who noticed my promotion, my picture, I used, and I can't say this word, ouroboros. Is that close? O-U-R-O-B-O-R-O-S. It is a dragon or a serpent which head is eating its own tail. So it's a perfect circle. So the ending is the beginning. So the ending of his job was the beginning of a new job, a new environment, a whole new experience. And I'm only using that to say it works in your life the same way. And it's what you do with it. It's what you do with what life gives you that tells you where you are. When things happen in your life, there is a bigger picture that you may not always grasp that happens, that is absolutely perfect, just for you. So when you get ready to close this year down, and you let go of those things, even if you love, like I talked about the first part of my talk, I really loved it, but it didn't fit. I had to let it go. When you get ready to go into 2015, don't try and bring everything from 2014 into it. And that means even letting go of things you love. Maybe people you love. Maybe they're not going to serve you at the same level that you want to be all that you can be. So you get to say, yes, I love you very much. I'm just not going to pay as much attention to you as I have in the past. Or you don't have that conversation, but you know that. And the things. And if it doesn't fit anymore, that was the other 2 parts that I threw out last night. It was great. There was nothing wrong with the pieces that I wrote. It just didn't fit. If you have things in your life in 2014 that do not fit in your theme or your ideas for 2015, this is the first day of the rest of your life. You get to choose. Don't drag them forward. They don't fit. There's nothing wrong with them. They just don't fit. And you get to make that choice. It's all about you making choice. So when the ouroboros, if that's close, Carl Jung said the alchemists who in their own way know more about the nature of the individuation process than we moderns do, express this paradox through the symbol of the ouroboros. The end is the beginning of something new. So it's an ancient symbol which we can use as we complete this year and go into the next. And that, let me then close out what Jim wrote, and those of you who have Science of Mind magazine, it's for December 31st. The Science of Mind says it is necessary that we release all thoughts as well as things that clutter up our lives. You know, that's the hardest thing to do, is let go of things. I've been doing that this year. I've been letting go of things that have been memories for like 20 years. And I love them, but they don't fit anymore. And I love them on somewhere else. I let them go. So he says that December 31st is a day of departure. Today we leave the past behind in a particularly symbolic way. Today we depart the old year and enter the new. There is nothing we can do about this. It's going to happen. It absolutely happens in the stroke of midnight, no matter what time zone you're in. We cannot choose to stay in this year any more than we can stop the clock in this current hour. We are served when we are prepared for that departure. And that's what this talk about today is really about. The letting go is about preparing for the departure so you can be open to receive what the new year has. So can we be prepared to enter the new year to thrive? Next year's theme is to live an intentional life. That's our theme for the center. All the talks will be about living an intentional life. But when we put it into intention, it materializes. We know this is the truth. And so if we take the time to set our intentions, now intentions are different than making, all of a sudden my brain dead. Intentions really will allow you to set the wisdom that you really want to accomplish during the year. It will say, I'm sorry?
Instead of resolutions.
Right, resolutions, New Year resolutions. And thank you, Becky, because what it says is the New Year's resolutions usually are a test of will. You use willpower. If it's my resolution is to quit smoking, it's about willpower. If your intention is to live a healthy life, your intention will be all those things, and when you put the power of your intention, will come forth to support you to have a healthy life, no matter how that shows up. It may be cessation of smoking, it may be going to the gym, it may be walking along the park, it may be anything. But your intention will be set, where the resolution may be only temporary. It may be only as long as your willpower sets it, because there's nothing behind it. Willpower is like pushing a boulder. Intention is about opening it up and surrendering, being ready to receive it all. So imagine yourself, I like the way this closes, imagine yourself 1 year from today. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. See yourself happy, fulfilled, and having realized your intentions. Breathe this in and feel it flow through your entire body. And claim you're good right now, and accept the idea fully in your heart. And what we know from the power of the Science of Mind is this is absolutely true. When we do a Science of Mind treatment, once we realize that God is all there is, and then we realize that we are one with God, what our third one is what we already know to be the truth. We don't come from a lack. We come from a knowing that we already have it. And our fourth is the thanksgiving for that which we already have. And we are just becoming aware of it. So it's truly supported. Our Science of Mind teaches us how to do that. And the fifth part is let go. Thank you.